Southern Squeeze is the only dedicated juice bar here in Columbia, and customers can stop by to check out their juices and even their almond milks and get a free sample on the house. In 2012, only 46% of eligible voters ages 18 to 29 came out to voting polls like this at the Richland County Election Commission to cast their ballots. But now that all millennials are of legal voting age, we'll see if that percentage increases or decreases for this upcoming election. I hope that. Thanks, Danielle. I'm here in the Horseshoe with these giant U of SC letters for homecoming. And speaking of homecoming, we are going to have some really great weather coming up. A cold front moved in last night and is bringing those fall-like temperatures that everyone has been waiting for, and we're going to see those for the next few days. That cold front is also bringing in cooler temperatures at night, but I'll just tell you how cold it's going to be later on in the show. The gas leak in Alabama is causing prices of gas to rise all over the Southeast, but the people who are feeling it most are students. "60 minutes, 12 players, 2 nets. That's hockey. It's something that sticks with you for life."
I've been playing for about 14 years.
15 years now.
And it creates a bond like no other.
These guys are my brothers. I grew up as an only child, and I've never had anything closer to these guys.
The University of South Carolina club hockey team is one of USC's best kept secrets, but team president Victor Smith says it's better than football.
This is probably the best sport you'll watch on USC. Now, forgive me for saying that because I'm from the North, but football doesn't come close to the amount of physicality, finesse, especially finesse, and fraternity that's here.
But the players do it for the love of the game.
Nobody's competing above the other person to make it pro. Everyone realizes the role that we have, and everyone respects that.
And Coach Sirwa knows a thing or two about hockey, playing 10 years in the East Coast Hockey League and 3 years in the Southern Professional Hockey League. He says he loves seeing the progress his players make during their time on the team.
But altogether, it's really rewarding to see guys getting better. And after 4 years, when you see them, graduating, they're a lot better than they were when you first got them. So that'd be gratifying to me.
The USC hockey team plays and practices at the Plex in Irmo. And while it's 20 minutes away from campus, the players say there are some incentives to come out to the game.
$2 beers.
And although USC hockey is only a club sport, that doesn't stop them from getting in on the Palmetto rivalry.
The home games are definitely the funnest part. When all the fans come out, play Clemson, rivalry games.
And a team that's as dedicated as this one deserves a fan base that's just as dedicated.
We're getting better every year. We have a lot of talented kids this year, and it'd be great to have a lot of fans come out and support. And the more fans we have come and support, the better the program's going to be.
Shannon O'Connell, Carolina News. Thanks, Nicole. Last night, millions of Americans watched the first of 3 presidential debates. Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton and Republican candidate Donald Trump squared off in a much-anticipated conversation. And as expected, the night was full of surprises.
Let me say,
there's nothing crazy about not letting our companies.
The Donald Trump we've gotten to know over these past few months is the Donald Trump we saw last night.
As the debate progressed, he seemed to be more willing, or more frustrated perhaps, to override and overstep when Mrs. Clinton was speaking.
Dean Charles Bierbauer was among the 100 million voters tuning in to the debate on Monday night. The former senior Washington correspondent for CNN thought Clinton performed stronger than Trump.
She was very much in control. She had an abundance of information and what certainly sounded like solid policy statements.
And that didn't come without preparations on her part.
I think Donald just criticized me for preparing for this debate. And yes, I did.
And what the candidates said and did during the debate will set the framework for the rest of the election season.
The first debate leaves the strongest impression. If you've done well, then you build on it. If you've done poorly, you've got some repair work to do.
And it seems Donald Trump's frustration got the best of him.
I will release my tax returns against my lawyer's wishes when she releases her 33,000 emails that have been deleted.
Based on what we saw in debate number 1, Donald Trump has more work to do to get ready for debate number 2.
The next presidential debate will be a town hall format and will take place on October 9th at Washington University in St. Louis. Reporting from the newsroom, Shannon O'Connell, Carolina News. Megan Durant is following all things election 2016 because this political season is unlike any other for her. It's the first time she is voting for president.
I think I personally have a very strong sense of civic duty, so regardless of the circumstances of the election, I'm going to vote.
She's staying up to date on the Trump and Clinton campaigns.
I follow both candidates on Twitter, on pretty much every form of social media.
And has watched the debates to hear the candidates' views on what they plan to do for our country.
I think it's incredibly important for voters to watch the debates. It puts them in the same arena, and it gives voters the opportunity to hear them pitch themselves and explain why the other candidate would be the lesser choice.
Political science teacher Shikri Sabaga warns against modern forms of media to get political information because people tend to get stuck in echo chambers.
Their friends that's in their news feed, the news articles that they end up reading, end up just confirming maybe their own biases.
He's also worried that while the showdown between Clinton and Trump is entertaining for viewers, it may scare millennials from coming to the polls.
Maybe we're giving America the conversation that they really are most interested in, but they're turned off by it because there's so much negativity.
Such a nasty woman.
Does that cause people to not want to vote?
In 2012, only 46% of eligible voters ages 18 to 29 came out to voting polls like this at the Richland County Election Commission to cast their ballots. But now that all millennials are of legal voting age, we'll see if that percentage increases or decreases for this upcoming election.
I hope that voters my age will, first of all, show up to the polls because I know that's a huge issue among our age group. But on top of it, they go out and they vote not based on, their party identification or what their parents' party identification is, but rather who they think is going to represent them better.
Democratic candidate Bernie Sanders caught Megan's attention early on. But now that he's not an option, has she made her decision?
Yes.
But she won't say who. If Megan and other first-time voters turn out in large numbers, the millennial vote could have a huge impact on the next president. But we won't know until November 8th.
Woo! Okay.
Shannon O'Connell, Carolina News.
Very much. Thank you.